Welcome to the Daily Current Affairs by CivicCentre IAS, where we try to discuss the important articles from the Hindu, the Indian Express and the PIB from the UPSC CSC prelims perspective. Displayed are the list of articles which we are going to discuss in today's video. The first article of the day says that the Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi on Wednesday, approved health coverage to all senior citizens aged 70 and above, irrespective of the income, under the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Significantly, this will benefit nearly 4.5 crore families with 6 crore senior citizens by providing 5 lakh free health insurance cover on a family basis. In this context, let us talk about the Ayushman Bharat scheme and also about the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. So, the Ayushman Bharat, which is a flagship scheme of the Government of India, was launched as recommended by the National Health Policy of 2017 to achieve the vision of universal health coverage. Notably, this initiative has been designed to meet the Sustainable Development Goals and its underlying commitment, which is leave no one behind. Now, what is the significance of the scheme? See, the Ayushman Bharat is an attempt to move from sectoral and segmented approach of health service delivery to a comprehensive need-based healthcare service. Furthermore, this scheme aims to undertake path-breaking interventions to holistically address the healthcare system, covering prevention, promotion and ambulatory care at the primary, secondary and tertiary level. Significantly, the Ayushman Bharat adopts a continuum of care approach comprising of two interrelated components, which are firstly health and wellness centers. See, in February of 2018, the Government of India announced the creation of 150,000 health and wellness centers by transforming the existing sub-centers and the primary healthcare centers. Notably, these centers are to deliver comprehensive primary healthcare, bringing healthcare closer to the homes of people. Furthermore, they cover both the maternal and child health services and non-communicable diseases, including free essential drugs and diagnostic services. Then the second component is Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. See, the PM-eBus is the world's largest health insurance or assurance scheme, fully financed by the government. Know that it provides a cover of 5 lakh rupees per family per year for secondary and tertiary care hospitalization across the public and private empaneled hospitals in India. Moving on to talk about its features. See, the PM-eBus provides cashless access to healthcare services for the beneficiary at the point of the service. So, it covers up to 3 days of pre-hospitalization and 15 days post-hospitalization expenses such as diagnostics and medicines. Know that there is no restriction on the family size, age or gender. Furthermore, all pre-existing conditions are covered from day one. Notably, the benefits of the scheme are portable across the country. That is, a beneficiary can visit any empaneled public or private hospital in India to avail cashless treatment. Significantly, the National Health Authority has been constituted as an autonomous entity under the Society Registration Act of 1860 for effective implementation of PM-eBus in alliance with the state governments. Additionally, the state health agency is the apex body of the state government responsible for the implementation of Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana in the state. The second article of the day says that the Union Cabinet approved a Mission Mausam on Wednesday with an outlay of 2,000 crores. In this context, let us talk about this mission. So, what is the Mission Mausam about? See, it is envisaged to be a multifaceted and transformative initiative to tremendously boost India's weather and climate related science, research and services. Then, why is the mission significant? See, it will help to better equip stakeholders, including the citizens and the last mile users, in tackling weather events and the impacts of climate change. Also, the ambitious program will help broaden capacity and resilience across the communities, sectors and ecosystems in the long run. Furthermore, as part of Mission Mausam, India will exponentially expand research and development and capacity in the atmospheric sciences, especially weather surveillance, modeling, forecasting and management. Then, what are the benefits of the scheme? See, the mission will focus on improving observations and understanding to deliver highly accurate and timely weather and climate information across temporal and spatial scales. So, this includes information on monsoon, air quality, extreme weather events, cyclones and weather interventions for managing fog, hail, and rain. Significantly, by integrating advanced observation systems, high performance computing, and cutting edge technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning, Mission Mausam will set a new benchmark for predicting weather with high precision. Additionally, critical elements of Mission Mausam will include the deployment of next generation radars and satellite systems with advanced sensors and high performance supercomputers, the development of improved Earth system models, and a GIS based automated decision support system for real time data dissemination. Remember that the Mission Mausam is to chiefly implemented by the Ministry of Earth Sciences. So, three institutes of the Ministry of Earth Sciences, which are the Indian Meteorological Department, the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, and the National Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasting, will primarily implement Mission Mausam. The third article of the day says that the Union Cabinet on Wednesday approved a scheme with an outlay of 10,900 crore rupees to provide for procurement of e-buses as well as for setting up more than 72,000 charging stations for electronic vehicle batteries in cities and on highways to address range anxiety among the buyers. In this context, let us talk about PM Drive scheme. See, the Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, has approved the proposal of the Ministry of Heavy Industries for the implementation of the scheme titled PM Electric Drive Revolution in Innovative Vehicle Enhancement Drive Scheme. In short, it is called the PM-eDrive scheme for the promotion of electrical mobility in the country. Know that the scheme has an outlay of 10,900 crore rupees over a period of 2 years. Then, what are the major components of the scheme? See, under the scheme, subsidies or demand incentives worth 3,679 crores have been provided to incentivize electrical two-wheelers, electrical three-wheelers, electric ambulance, electric trucks, and other emerging EVs. So, the scheme will support 24.79 lakh electrical two-wheelers, 3.16 lakh electrical three-wheelers, and 14,028 electric buses. However, under the scheme, there is no support for electric cars. Notably, it has also excluded hybrid cars. Furthermore, MHI is introducing e-vouchers for electrical vehicle buyers to avail demand incentives under the scheme. Also, the scheme allocates 500 crore rupees for the deployment of e-ambulances. Notably, this is a new initiative of the Government of India to promote the use of e-ambulance for a comfortable patient transport. Then, what are the benefits do we get under the scheme? See, the scheme promotes mass mobility by supporting means of public transportation. Significantly, the primary objective of the PM-eDrive scheme is to expedite the adoption of electrical vehicles by providing upfront incentives for the purchase as well as by facilitating the establishment of essential charging infrastructure for electrical vehicles. So, the PM-eDrive scheme aims to promote electric vehicles to reduce the environmental impact of transportation and improve air quality. Additionally, the scheme promotes an efficient, competitive, and resilient electrical vehicle manufacturing industry, thereby promoting Atmanirbhar Bharat. Notably, this will be achieved by incorporating phased manufacturing program, which encourages domestic manufacturing and strengthening of EV supply chain. The next article of the day says that the Central Drug Standard Control Organization has suspended the permission given to the Mumbai-based Entod Pharmaceuticals to manufacture and market an eye drops that it said can help those with presbyopia do without reading glasses. In this context, let us talk about the Central Drug Standard Control Organization, in short called the CDSCO. See, the Central Drug Standard Control Organization (CDSCO), under the Directorate General of Health Services of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare of the Government of India, is the National Regulatory Authority of India. Notably, the Drugs Controller General of India is the head of the CDSCO. Know that the headquarters of it is in New Delhi. Significantly, under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act, CDSCO is responsible for the approval of drugs, conduct of clinical trials, laying down the standards for the drugs, control over the quality of imported drugs in the country, and coordination of activities of the state drug control organizations by providing expert advice with a view of bringing about the uniformity in the enforcement of Drugs and Cosmetics Act. Further, the CDSCO, along with the state regulators, is jointly responsible for the grant of licenses of certain specialized categories of critical drugs such as the blood and blood products, IV fluids, vaccines, and serum. Then what are the functions of CDSCO? Firstly, approval of new drugs and clinical trials. Secondly, import registration and licensing. Thirdly, license approving of blood banks, large volume parenterals vaccines, rDNA products, and some medical devices. Then, amendment to the Drugs and Cosmetics Act and rules. Next, banning of drugs and cosmetics. Furthermore, grant of test license, personal license, NOC for export. Then, testing of new drugs. And lastly, oversight and market surveillance through Inspectorate of Center over and above the state authority. The next article of the day says that with just 2 days left for submitting suggestions to the Parliament's Joint Action Committee on the WAQF Amendment Bill of 2024, Muslim and Hindu organizations have intensified the campaigns to ensure that the people send their feedback. In this context, let us talk about the WAQF Amendment Bill. What is a waqf? See, a waqf is a property given in the name of God for the religious and charitable purposes. In legal terms, a permanent dedication of a person professing Islam of any movable or immovable property for any purpose recognized by the Muslim law as pious, religious, or charitable. Moving on to talk about the Waqf Amendment Bill, let us talk about the key changes in the bill. Firstly, with respect to the title and scope, it renames the Waqf Act of 1995 and proposes amendments to enhance the management of Waqf properties. Secondly, with respect to definitions, it clarifies the definition of Waqf as a property endowed by a Muslim with at least 5 years of practice. And it introduces new definitions including Aga Khani Waqf, Bohra Waqf, and the government property. Thirdly, with respect to the governance, it transfers powers from Waqf boards or tribunals to the state governments. Then, it allows non-Muslim CEOs and members on the state Waqf boards. And it permits the central government to audit Waqfs through appointed auditors. Next, with respect to the registration and survey, it requires a Waqf creation through a Waqf deed. Then it transfers survey functions to the collector, and it mandates public notice before the land records are mutated as Waqf property. Next, with respect to the composition of the boards, it broadens the composition of the Central Waqf Council and the State Waqf boards, ensuring representation of Muslim women, non-Muslims, and various other Muslim communities. Lastly, the bill removes the provision that allowed properties to be deemed Waqf through continuous use by Muslims, making valid Waqf deeds mandatory for property recognition. The next article of the day says that the effectuation of the fundamental duties is and will always be a continuing task, calling for duty-specific legislations, schemes, and supervision. According to the Attorney General R. Venkatramani, which he told on Supreme Court. In this context, let us talk about fundamental duties. See, Article 51A contained in the Part 4A of the Constitution deals with fundamental duties. Originally, the Indian Constitution did not contain fundamental duties, but by the 42nd Amendment of the Constitution, which was adopted in the year 1976, the fundamental duties of the citizens have also been enumerated. Originally, they were 10 in number. One more duty was added through the 86th Constitutional Amendment Act of 2002. Now let us look at the key features of fundamental duties. Firstly, like the directive principles, the duties are also non-justiciable in nature. So, they are not enforceable by law through the judiciary. Secondly, these duties are confined to citizens only and do not extend to foreigners. Thirdly, the idea of fundamental duties is inspired from the Constitution of Russia. Furthermore, they refer to values that have been a part of the Indian traditions and practices. Thus, they essentially are a codification of tasks integral to the Indian way of life. Lastly, some of them are moral duties, while the others are civic duties. The next article of the day says that from likening India's semiconductor market to a special diode which conducts energy in two directions to calling it an integrated market for integrated circuits, according to Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi called on executives from top global chip companies on Wednesday to invest the semiconductor ecosystem in the country. In this context, let us talk about India's semiconductor mission first and then about the Semicon India program. See, the India Semiconductor Mission is a specialized and independent business division within the Digital India Corporation. Significantly, it aims to build a vibrant semiconductor and display ecosystem to enable India's emergence as a global hub for electronics manufacturing and design. Furthermore, envisioned to be led by global experts in the semiconductor and display industry, India's Semiconductor Mission will serve as the nodal agency for efficient, coherent, and smooth implementation of the schemes. Now, what are the objectives of India's Semiconductor Mission? Firstly, to formulate a comprehensive long-term strategy for developing sustainable semiconductor and display manufacturing facilities. Then, to facilitate the adoption of secure microelectronics and develop a trusted semiconductor supply chain. Thirdly, to enable the growth of India's semiconductor design industry through support mechanisms for the startups. Next, to promote indigenous intellectual property generation and facilitate transfer of technologies. Further, to establish mechanisms to harness economies of scale and enable cutting-edge research in semiconductors. And lastly, to foster collaborations and partnership programs with national and international agencies, industries, and institutions. Now, moving on to talk about the Semicon India program, it aims to provide attractive incentive support to companies or consortia that are engaged in silicon semiconductor fabs, display fabs, compound semiconductors, silicon photonics, sensors fabs, semiconductor packaging, and semiconductor design. Notably, the program will give an impetus to the semiconductor and display manufacturing by facilitating capital support and technological collaborations. The next article says that the Union Cabinet on Wednesday approved the implementation of the fourth phase of Pradhan Mantri Sadak Yojana for the construction of 62,500 km of new roads providing all-weather connectivity to 25,000 villages. In this context, let us talk about the Pradhan Mantri Sadak Yojana. See, the Pradhan Mantri Sadak Yojana was launched in 2000 by the Government of India to provide connectivity to unconnected habitations as part of a poverty reduction strategy. Notably, the Government of India is endeavoring to set high and uniform technical and management standards and facilitating policy development and planning at the state level in order to ensure sustainable management of rural nodes network. Know that it aims to assist the states in providing all-weather road connectivity to all eligible unconnected habitations in the rural areas. If we have to look at the prominent features of the scheme, firstly, proper decentralized planning for the building of roads. Secondly, to build the roads according to the Indian Road Congress and Rural Roads Manual. Thirdly, 3-tier quality management system. And lastly, an unbroken flow of funds. Now, what are the benefits under it? Firstly, all-weather connection to the hamlets that are at least or not connected. Secondly, overall development of the country allows for easy movement of goods and vehicles. Then there are better employment opportunities for those from villages thanks to the road connections. Know that the nodal ministry is the Ministry of Rural Development. What are the benefits of the phase 4 of the scheme? Firstly, 25,000 unconnected habitations will be provided all-weather road connectivity. Secondly, all-weather roads will play a role of catalyst for required socio-economic development and transformation of the remote rural areas. Thirdly, while connecting habitations, the nearby government, educational, health, market, growth centers will be connected as far as feasible with all-weather road for the benefit of the local people. Then the Pradhan Mantri Sadak Yojana Phase 4 will incorporate international benchmarks and best practices under the road connections such as cold mix technology and waste plastic, paneled cement concrete, self-filled concrete, full depth reclamation, use of construction waste and other waste such as fly ash, steel slag, etc. Notably, the PM-GSY Phase 4 road alignment planning will be undertaken through the PM Gati Shakti portal. Furthermore, the planning tool on the PM Gati Shakti portal will also assist the DPR preparation. The last article of the day says that the Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, has approved the PM-eBus Sewa Payment Security Mechanism Scheme, in short called the PSM scheme, for the procurement and operation of electric buses by public transport authorities with an outlay of 3,435.33 crores. In this context, let us talk about the PM-eBus Sewa Scheme. See, the Government of India has launched the PM-eBus Sewa Scheme on 16th of August 2023 with the aim to augment bus operations by deployment of 10,000 electric buses on PPP model, which is nothing but the public-private partnership model. At present, the majority of the buses are operated by the public transport authorities, run on diesel or CNG, causing adverse environmental impact. Then on the other hand, e-buses are environment friendly and have a lower operational cost. Then what is the significance of it? See, firstly, it is to address the high capital cost of e-buses. Public transport authorities induct these buses through public-private partnership on gross cost contract model. Furthermore, the PTAs are not required to pay the upfront cost of the bus under the GCC model. Instead, original equipment manufacturer or the operators procure and operate the e-buses for the PTAs with monthly payments. However, the OEMs or the operators are hesitant to engage in this model due to the concerns about potential payment defaults. Notably, this initiative seeks to facilitate adoption of e-buses by encouraging private sector participation. Lastly, the scheme will provide benefits to all public transport authorities present in the states or the UTs who opt for the scheme. If we have to talk about the features, firstly, it is about reaching the unreached. Secondly, it facilitates a direct employment generation. Further, the scheme has two segments. The first one is segment A, which is about augmenting the city bus services in 169 cities. So, the approved bus scheme will augment the city bus operations with 10,000 e-buses on public-private partnership model. Furthermore, the associated infrastructure will provide support for the development or upgradation of the depot infrastructure and creation of a behind-the-meter power infrastructure for electric buses. Then the segment B, which is about the green urban mobility initiatives, in short called the GUMI, in 181 cities. Under this, the scheme envisages green initiatives like bus priority, infrastructure, multimodal interchange facilities, NCMC-based automated fare collection systems, charging infrastructure, etc. Further, it also provides support for the operation and the boost to e-mobility. So, in this video, we have discussed 9 articles in total from the Hindu, the Indian Express and the PIB from the UPSC CSC prelims perspective. We'll be back with another video tomorrow. Thank you.